Hey everybody, Karen here. Welcome back to Unpinned Creative. I released a creative healing video yesterday, which I later thought might have been very long and boring, seeing as I didn't actually create much art and did a whole lot of waffling instead. And while I think it was maybe important information for some people, it might have been just a whole lot of nonsense for others, and especially those who are here for the art and not the waffle. So I thought I would release another video as well, which is more about finishing off this page and getting it done. So for those of you that didn't like the last video, this one's for you. So this Mod Podge that I put on last night is all completely dry now, and I'm going to try and get this page finished in this video with a bit less waffle. So the first thing I want to do is bring in a bit more of this brighter blue colour, because I lost quite a bit of that when I added the Mod Podge. So I'm just going to use the chalk pastel on top, and I'm not going to worry about sealing this now, this extra stuff that I'm putting on, because I think it'll be okay. And yes, some might transfer to other bits of the page and stuff like that, but I'm not that worried about that. I like my pages to evolve over time. Yeah, so that's what this one will be, an evolving page. And I guess what I could talk about in this video, which will hopefully be more interesting, and you can just mute me if you're not interested in the waffle, is the difference between hope and faith. So in my mind, and just my opinion, the difference between hope and faith is hope is more wishing for something to happen, and faith is the knowledge that it will happen. Or hope is wishing for change, and faith is knowing that change will happen. Just as an example. And I think that's a really important definition to make, because often hope is a word that you hear a lot in regards to challenging circumstances. So things like there's always hope, and don't stop hoping for a better outcome and stuff like that. And that's true, and I'm not this is not anything negative about hoping for stuff. It is really important also to have faith and the surety in believing in something. And so for me, with creating, and going back to that being the first kind of place I put my faith after I had struggled with finding faith in anything, the knowledge that I had, the surety that I had, was that creating would give me some joy. So less about so I guess I made it less about my ability to create good art and more about just finding joy in the creating process. And so the faith was in the joy of creating, not in my ability to create something amazing, I guess. And that's why these art journals are, I think, a really good tool, because in it, when I started using art journaling, I allowed myself one of the kind of rules, if there are rules, that I made for myself was that I was allowed to make bad art in these journals. I was allowed to just do what I felt like doing and not worry about whether it was good or bad, or I thought it was good or bad. So once you allow yourself the freedom to make bad art, stuff that you don't like, that's not necessarily appealing to you, it's amazing what can happen, because you start doing things you'd never have tried before. You start putting colours together that you never would have thought to put together before. And there we go. I think that's enough added colour for now. I probably should have got something to wipe my hands with. Yeah, you try new techniques that you think are impossible for you or difficult for you and stuff like that, because you've given yourself permission to do it badly and, you know, not create a fantastic masterpiece. And now that's what I do with everything I create. I first, as I'm creating, understand that I have permission to do it badly and see what happens. And sometimes you really surprise yourself. Alright, so the next thing is, you can probably see this fussy cut here. I have found this gorgeous image in a vintage children's magazine and fussy cut it out. It's actually a depiction of the goddess Aphrodite, but that was less important to me than the image, and I think I would like to put this on the page, kind of as a representation of me being surrounded by angels who are happy and dancing, and my faith in that, you know, there is still joy in my life. Sometimes I have to look really hard for it, but mostly I don't, because I'm creating all the time, so I'm always finding joy, and I'm very blessed and grateful for that. Yeah. Alright, so but before I put her down, I want to add something to these green parts, just to push them back a wee bit. It's quite a bright green, so I have a little swirly stamp here, and I'm going to use my Not Quite Navy ink pad, which is one of my favourites. And I'm just going to pop that down in some of these green parts. I can't tell you where this stamp came from, I'm afraid, because I picked it up secondhand, as with just about everything that I use to craft with. So I'm going to do a video one of these days explaining why I use mostly pre-loved craft supplies, and also with some tips and stuff for finding and using pre-loved supplies. Which might be of interest to you. I have lots of plans for videos. It's just finding the time to get them done. Now I still want some swirls in there. Ideally, I would have thought to do this before I put the people on, but I didn't. There's always a way. Okay, sorry, I just had to run out and meet the courier, but look what just arrived. Oh, they're so gorgeous. These are vintage farming newspapers from 1906. Sorry, I'll just have a little quick show for you. And they have really cool old ads in them, but look at this image, isn't it amazing? There's a sticker on there, but never mind. But isn't that just the most beautiful image? Look at these ones, so cool. Anyway, I love finding stuff like this. Junk journal gold, especially in New Zealand. My goodness, it's not easy to come by stuff like this in New Zealand. I mean, this might be a dime a dozen wherever you are in the world, but in New Zealand it most certainly isn't. Look at that. So cute. This one is from Christmas Eve, 1909. Iowa, it says. I don't know how to say that. Des Moines? Please don't laugh at me. Iowa, Friday, December 24th, 1909. Are they all from Iowa? Yes, they're all from Iowa. 1906, this one. Yee. Isn't it cool? Okay, sorry, enough of that. That's not what we're here for. We are here for making art. Right, where did I get to? Just has a few little bits up here. Alrighty, I think that is a bit better now. Yeah. Okay, so I do not remember what I was talking about. Maybe I was just talking about stamp. Oh, I think I was talking about second pre-loved craft supplies. Okay, so this a fussy cut out of a vintage children's magazine. I've kind of inked the edges a wee bit, and I'm thinking I would like to pop her down here. I think that's the best place for her, or maybe there. That might be a wee bit better. Yeah, I think that side. But before I do that, I want to add some white Posca pen. I'm not sure how it's going to work on this chalk, but I'm going to give it a go. So I want to just highlight some of the parts of these dancing angels. Let me see. Just going to darken that line up a bit more again. So I'm just going to pop some kind of highlight lines on the wings. Yeah, that's working quite well. Just to make them stand out a wee bit more as wings. The trick is knowing when to stop with the white pen. And I'm just wondering if I need some down here to separate these two. Okay, I think that will do. I think that will be fine. All right, now for the goddess. Yeah, I like it. Okay, how am I going to stick her on? I am going to just use my wood glue, I think. I've forgotten everything I was talking about. Oh, I think I was talking about the difference between hope and faith. And my glue is not working. There we go. Yeah, hope and faith, and the importance of, it's important to have hope always, of course, but finding faith in something, in anything, for any reason, even if it is faith in something that will bring you joy, which is where I got to, is really important too, because it gives you something to keep going, to keep looking forward to. I feel really blessed that my youngest was a high needs child, because it, in a lot of respects, it forced me to keep participating in life and doing the things that I really didn't want to do. And even now I feel like that at times. You know, it forces me to push through. And I am all for resting when you need to rest. Your body hurts and is tired and fatigued and whatever for a reason. And we need to rest and allow our bodies time to heal. But you can really get into a funk of only doing that and not being able to find a reason to get up and keep going and that sort of thing. So finding something that makes you want to take an interest in something is quite important, I think. Okay, I'm going to try and spread that out so it doesn't bleed out the sides too much onto the page. Messy Crafting with Karen and her finger tool, which is the most valuable tool I have to say. Let's see if we can do this without making too much of a mess on the page. Okay, she is on there. Just wipe up some of the mess I made. Move that messy gluey bit out of the way, put my pin back in my glue, which is the reason it gets blocked up, and one day I'll remember that. Now, I think I'm going to go around the edges. I'm just going to use the black chalk pastel for that. Smudge it out a wee bit. So if you don't have chalk pastels, use watercolor paints, acrylic paints, watercolor pencils, your ink, you know, whatever coloring medium that you have available, you can achieve something similar using. I just haven't used chalk pastels much before, and I've got them here, so I wanted to try it out. Certainly for going around edges and getting a smudged out black edge on something, there's a million things you can use. You can use charcoal, the burnt end of a matchstick if that's all you have. You can use water soluble pencil, chalk. You could even do something like this with just normal chalks, like kids' chalks, I'm sure. I'm sure that that's all chalk pastels are, is kind of a more refined version of kids' chalk. You can use eyeshadow. I love using eyeshadow. You might have seen me do that before. Lots of different things just to achieve the same kind of look. Just see what you have and see how you can use it to achieve what you want to achieve. Alrighty, oops, I moved that out of the way for a reason, didn't I? What I probably would like to do is go around her with the black pencil as well. I'm going to wait for the glue to dry though properly before I do that. And then I guess the only other thing that I personally would want to do to the page is you could add a sentiment down here. So I could put the word faith down here, which would remind me of what this page was all about. And I might do that. I'm not big on putting sentiments on pages. In fact, I very, very rarely do it. But I could do it. And I might. I'm just not going to do it today. So I'm going to call this page done. Or the only other thing I'm going to do is go around her with the black water soluble pencil just in a very fine line. But I'm going to do that once the page is dry. So I will leave it there for now. So that is the kind of bonus creative healing video for today, in case you didn't want to listen to all my waffling from the last video. So thanks so much for sticking around if you're still here, and I will see you in the next one.